Layoffs galore. Amazon is planning to lay off approximately 10,000 employees as soon as this week, according to multiple reports. Joining me now is Andy Puzder, former CKE restaurant CEO, a fellow at the Heritage Foundation. Andy, good to see you.
Always thanks, Tegan. Good to see you.
And I'm not making light of this. Meta, the parent of Facebook and Instagram, said it's going to lay off 11,000 workers. That's 13% of the workforce. Part of the issue, and this gets to the bigger problem, a lot of these companies are so rich, a lot of these people at these tech giants don't do anything. That they're unproductive and they don't really have much of a job. So they're expendable. And is this a wake-up call?
Well, you're absolutely right. I actually think there's two things going on. One is, you're absolutely correct, these companies are overstaffed. The payrolls are bloated. One of the departments they're going to be reducing is the Human Resources Department, HR. I think if American corporations generally reduce their HR departments, they'd be more profitable. HR seems to be running a lot of these companies in the S&P 500. The second part of this is what the Fed's doing is starting to work. I mean, the Fed's trying to slow the economy down, and it's having an impact. People are cutting back on new jobs. They're cutting back on existing payrolls. And I think you're seeing that in the tech sector maybe first, because they're so overstaffed to begin with. And
I was having a conversation with someone when Elon Musk just initially announced all these layoffs at Twitter. But you could run Twitter with 1,000 people or less. I mean, they're bloated corporations. And I'm not trying to make light of people losing their jobs, but again, it will certainly, hopefully help productivity in this country that you will now have to work your fanny off and make sure you're producing something. And that kind of leads me to this Andy Kessler column, this op-ed in the Journal, calling out the decline of work in the labor market.
I think one of the things that Elon Musk found attractive about the Twitter purchase was that he could significantly reduce the staff. So he's going to reduce general administrative costs right off the top. And nobody else was doing that. So I think he saw some upside in that respect. Kessler's article, Andy's article, was actually very good and very on point. With people I talked to, particularly in the restaurant industry, tell me that they're seeing a real change in the labor force pre-pandemic and post-pandemic. They're hiring young Americans who haven't had a job in 2 or 3 years. They've been living off government benefits or staying home with mom and dad. And we're now reaching a point in the economy where savings rates are back down to a 15-year low, and consumer debt is back up way above where it was before the pandemic. So mom and dad are starting to tell the kids, it's time to get a job. And I think they're going out into the labor force expecting that they can set their own hours, say they don't want to work weekends, do the kinds of things that really you and I would never have thought of when we were going out looking for jobs as a teenager or as a young adult. But it's making a big change in the labor force, and it's impacting the supply of goods. Services have gone way up.
Right.
And inflation continues to soar because employers can't hire the employees to produce the goods and the services.
And I just want to give Andy Kessler some of the language we used in the open was straight from the piece he wrote. But it gets down, he talks about this, and we don't have much time, but we increase productivity and work by having workers figure out how to do more with less from the bottom up. People generally are paid what they are worth, and it benefits everyone. And there's pride and dignity in work and honor. Andy, real quick before we go.
Well, productivity is what drives prosperity, and you only get productivity if you have a trained workforce that's anxious to see their lives improve and anxious to get out there and work. And right now we don't have that, but as the economy declines, I think it will come back.
American spirit. Andy Puzder, Thank you so much. Great to see you.